والتقى هذا كتاب الله أعذب منهل أنعم به.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا Muhammad وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. My brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the 8th part of this series where we are looking at the explanation of the 40 hadith pertaining to the virtues and the rulings of the Qur'an. In this hadith, reminder, we'll be looking at the well-known hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, where he mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ, he struck a parable and he said, مَثَلُ الْمُؤْمِنَ الَّذِي يَقْرَأُ الْقُرْآنِ, that the example of the believer who recites the Qur'an, كَمَثَلِ الْأُتْرُجَّةِ, that he is like the citron fruit. وَمَثَلُ رِيحُهَا طَيِّبٌ وَطَعْمُهَا طَيِّبٌ, that its smell is pleasant and its fragrance is pleasant and its taste is good. But the example of the believer, وَمَثَلُ الْمُؤْمِنَ الَّذِي لَا يَقْرَأُ الْقُرْآنِ, but the example of the believer who doesn't recite the Qur'an, then he is like a date that has a good taste, but it doesn't have a pleasant smell. It has no fragrance. It has no fragrance, but it tastes okay. It tastes good. And then the Prophet ﷺ gave an example of the hypocrite who recites the Qur'an and the hypocrite who doesn't recite the Qur'an. But let us focus on the first part of this hadith. So the example of the believer who recites the Qur'an, then he is like an utrujja. An utrujja is a citron fruit which resembles a lemon. And a person might ask, why did the Prophet ﷺ use this as an example of that of a citron fruit? Of all the different types of fruit and food that maybe one could have used, why the citron in particular? If you look at the citron itself, it has a number of benefits other than its taste and its fragrance. It has medical purposes as well. People used to use the skin of the citron for medical reasons as well. And it was even said that, subhanallah, and Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, he mentions this, that a house that has a lot of citron in it, then the jinn, they flee from such homes, just like the shayateen, they flee from homes that have Qur'an recited in them. Not only that, subhanallah, they said if you look at the pip of the seed of the citron, then they used to use it to make special oils as well for many beneficial purposes. So subhanallah, it's as if the one who recites the Qur'an, he is beneficial from all perspectives. Beneficial from all perspectives. He's beneficial to himself, but he benefits those around him as well. And just like they said the citron fruit was something which was very pleasant to look at. The Arabs used to like its size, its color, its fragrance. So it was pleasing to the eye. And likewise, the one who recites the Qur'an, he is pleasing to other people as well. And he has this effect, like he's like a fragrant smell, a scent that is pleasant to be around. This aroma, it's just pleasant to be around. And likewise, the people of the Qur'an, they are like that due to the character that they have, because they have the character of the Qur'an. But the one who doesn't recite the Qur'an, meaning he is not someone who spends much time in reciting the Qur'an, he doesn't put that effort in to study and recite the Qur'an, then he is like a date. His taste is good because he still has iman. He's still a believer. So internally, just as when we taste food, internally it tastes good, then he is a believer, so he still has some goodness in him, but he has no fragrance. Doesn't smell nice at all. Why? Because the person who doesn't recite the Qur'an, he lacks that influence. He cannot be amongst those who influence others in a positive way, in a way that Allah subhanahu, like the way the prophets of Allah used to influence other people, like the way the Sahaba used to influence other people. That was the key feature that such influential people that they had. They were people of the Qur'an. That's what made them to be such influential and beneficial people to be around. And not only that, look at the example that the Prophet ﷺ gave between the citron fruit and the date. Look at the differences, subhanAllah. Look at the pip of the citron fruit and the pip of the date. Look at the differences between the two. The citron fruit, the seed or the pip of the citron fruit, it is smooth and it is white. Like the heart of the person of the Qur'an. It is smooth and soft and white. Whereas the pip of the date, it is hard, rugged, and it's dark in color. And so likewise, the one who recites the Qur'an, his heart will become smooth. His heart will become soft and clear and bright and white. Whereas the one who doesn't recite the Qur'an, his heart will be tarnished and will be rough, and it will not be as clear as the heart of the one who recites the Qur'an. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who continuously recite the Qur'an and be amongst those who act upon its meanings and its teachings. In the next reminder, inshallah ta'ala, we will be looking at the hadith which speaks about the virtue and the reward for reciting the Qur'an itself. How much reward is entailed for one who recites the Qur'an? And this is a hadith that many of us have heard, but we fail to maybe understand its implications and how we could practically implement that in our day-to-day lives. So inshallah, please tune in for that reminder, inshallah, and hopefully you will find it very beneficial, inshallah ta'ala. Barakallahu feekum, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.